Hi all, it's Ben here. Today we're running the Bookeasy Academy for finance. So we're about to get started. So I hope you can all hear me. If you can, in the right hand side you should see a chat window. Can you just maybe type a quick note in there if you can hear us? Perfect, so I can see that on there. So I'm just going to start through the slides, so making sure that everyone can hear me. Can everyone see me as well? Can you see the housekeeping slide? Just put another note in there. Perfect, thank you. So this session is being recorded and will be made available to the attendees following the webinar. So if you do need to duck out for any reason, we will be sending it out. If you need to send it out to anyone else, we can do that as well. So feel free to submit your questions at any time as well. I have Brittany here with me who will be answering all of your questions. So just pop your questions in there and we'll answer them as they come in. If there are any questions that are a bit over the top, we'll probably follow up after the session from a support level and get in touch with you. At the end of the webinar, we'll be going through and doing a bit of Q&A. So if you have any major questions, you can also answer it then. So as I said on the right hand side, so you can open and control your control panel. You can open and close it from the right hand side. To join audio, if you don't have it, you can just click mic and speakers and it'll come through your speakers. If you've got anything plugged in like a headset, it should come through there. You can choose the telephone and dial in as well if you like. And we again encourage you to put your questions into the questions box and submit them to us so we can answer them. So for today's agenda, we've got an hour and a half, give or take. It's scheduled in for an hour and a half. Usually finance we can breeze through, but we're going to be covering all the things that are in the list of today's agenda. So we're going to be going through how payments are recorded in Bookeasy, how to correct recorded payments for human errors, if there are any, which there are from time to time, as I'm sure we all know. How to how to reconcile recorded payments. How to check the Bookeasy exception report in order to identify irregularities in the system. This is an important step before running your returns. How to access recorded payments once they've been reconciled. Running and managing tourism operator returns, e.g. paying your operators. How to add custom text to tourism operator recipient created tax invoices, and options for managing referral bookings whereby a guest has paid the operator direct and how you can claim commission back for those bookings. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to jump into recording payments made inside the Bookeasy system. So I'm just going to change my screen here. So you should see now the Bookeasy dashboard. And what I'm going to do is just jump into my reservations list. And I'm going to pick a random reservation from my list. In the previous webinars we've had, it explains this screen in more detail. So if you do need to follow up on that, just let us know and we can forward those through to you. So for anyone that's not aware, and I've gone through the list of the attendees today and I see a lot of familiar faces that we've spoken to before, this is the reservation screen where all reservations are managed from inside of Bookeasy from Visitor Information Centre staff. This is what they're using on a daily basis and tells them everything about a booking, and also this is where they're going to make a gateway payment and when they're also going to make a record what we call a record other payment, whereby it might be a cash transaction, FPOS, something like that, which isn't a secure credit card gateway payment through your chosen gateway provider. So making a gateway payment is as simple as clicking the Make Gateway Payment option at the bottom of the screen here. What this will do is it will give you a pop-up window, and I'll show it here if you cannot. Oh, you can see it on your screen, that's all good, which will show the credit card information. So this is just entering in the card name, the credit card number, expiry and security code, and the amount to pay. Now in the Bookeasy training console, this is linked to SecurePay, but we do have other clients as well where this will be linked to their Bendigo Bank gateway. So this is a nice little way to take credit card payments. Some centres though do still prefer if someone's paying by credit card in front of them that they take it through the FPOS machine, which is, again, that's fine. If that is the case, what the staff member will be doing is they will be jumping into the reservation and they will click on Record Other Payment. This will take them to a payment screen whereby they can choose the payment type. So we have a list of predefined types here. If you do need any types added, you can let us know. This is a shared field across the entire Bookeasy network, so anything that anyone sees here is for everyone, so you can't get rid of any, unfortunately, because it may affect some centres. So what I'm going to do is pretend I've taken an FPOS payment, and I'm going to search for FPOS here. You've got your payment date, which can be backdated if you wish. You just type the date. Used if, let's say, your FPOS terminal was down or you were taking payments through a different method and needed to enter in some backdated payments, you can definitely do that. The payment amount, so the amount taken, obviously. You can do split payments, so you just type in the amount that you charge, add that one payment, and then you can go in and add another payment. The description field, so this is where you can add a little note if you like. Most commonly what people are doing is writing their receipt number down from their FPOS machine if they do use this description field. It's definitely not mandatory. It's also used when doing refunds and that type of thing. It's a lot easier to put a note in so anyone that comes across the booking can see what has happened. Receipt number, that's used for our operator cancellations, which we'll be going through towards the end of today's webinar. And I'm just going to save a payment. As you can see, I have the payment down the bottom here, and you can see it's just an FPOS payment of $4.40, which has fully paid off the reservation. Let's say a staff member had made an error with their payment type, which happens all the time. You can jump in on the payment ID on the left-hand side. You can click on the payment ID and change the payment type. So if I put FPOS and I really meant I wanted to choose credit card, I could put that in and I could say incorrect payment type. I would put my name and save payment. So therefore you can see now my payment type has now changed from FPOS to credit card. So that's recording payments, and for a good overview for finance people that might not necessarily do their day-to-day stuff when using Bookeasy. One other thing I didn't point out was any online transactions. Any online transactions that come through will always be marked as gateway unless you have, say, just taken an online booking and they're a 24-hour operator and they're paying by bank transfer and you've organised that outside of Bookeasy. But typically all gateway payments will be for the online payments as well. What we're going to go on to now is we're going to go through reconciling payments process. Now this is a contentious point when we're out on the road as to what you should do, who should be doing this. Bookeasy typically feel that as staff are working with the Bookeasy console every day, they should be reconciling payments that they make every single day. That way you take into account as to what has been taken, and you don't want to be going through a week after the fact trying to figure out why this payment is, say, credit card when it should have been something else. So I'm going to jump back to my Bookeasy console now. I'm going to go to my left-hand menu. I'm going to go to Financials and Payments Today. So as I said, the Payments Today section is where staff are going to go through and they're going to check off their payments that they have made. Whether a manager does this or whoever, again, is completely up to the centre as to their process. But it's just giving us a list of all payments that have been taken. So I can see here on the 20th, a payment taken by Nathan, the payment location, the booking location, the client name, so Nathan Bookeasy, the description, which is typically the operator, the payment type, any receipt number, so again that's used in reference to our refund, so it's not going to have anything in this field, a link through to the itinerary, so I can just open that in a new window if I wish and it'll take me through the itinerary, the amount, and then an action. So when I click the action, this is basically me saying, yes, I verified that I've taken this payment and I want to reconcile this payment. It does break the payment types up as well. So you can see that cash was taken $230. I could just click the cash line and it would select everything in that box. Same as FBOS, same as credit card. So any staff that have unique staff logins, any centres that use unique payment locations or booking locations, you can see that these are displayed on the list. So you can get that information on who's taking payments where. You can also click into the payment ID and update the payment location if you wish, or the payment type, as I said before. What I'm going to do is come across and I'm going to reconcile my payments for today, pretending that today is my end of day, and I'm going through and reconciling all of my payments. I've clicked them all, verified that I have taken all those funds, so that it's all correct, and I can click reconcile. What that's going to do is it's going to take me to a list of payments that have been reconciled for that day. So what some staff do, if it'll say all cash, they may print off this screen by just right click and print. And then they'll go through and staple that to their cash, or they might give a list to their finance team or really anything. It's just a final, here's your list. There are other lists that you can use as well, and payment histories that you can get from within inside of Bookeasy. So what we'll be going through now is we're going to be going through viewing our past payments and our payment history. This is where you're going to go to search any payments, if you wish, that have already been reconciled. The Payments Today section will only show unreconciled payments. Anything else, you do need to use your payment history report. So underneath the left-hand menu, Underneath Financials, we have Payment History as our second menu. This page here is going to give us a list where we can search payments. So I'm going to search for any reconciled payments for the past month. And you can split them out if you like. So you can show only gateway payments, other payments, booking center cancellation fees, operator cancellation fees, all payments, all except operator and booking center cancellation fees. You can also show payments by operator if you wish by clicking the operator drop-down box. So clicking Perform Search, this gives us a list of a summary page. Now this gives us a summary page for one very important reason. What we were having in the past was centres were going in and they wanted to see their entire payments for the full financial year. So what we were getting was the page timeout. So we had to put in a summary page first where you could choose the days that payments have been reconciled on. If I choose the 27th, it will give me a list. Alternatively, you can export to Excel down the bottom of the page, and that will give you every single payment for those date ranges that you've searched. And you can sort the list in Excel a lot easier. So this would be being used for if you needed to find if a payment was taken on a specific day or something like that, you could just come in and see your payment history. Or really, if you just wanted to come into this page to check how much payments you've taken for the month, you can see a little summary down the bottom as well. So the next thing we're going to be doing is going through how to manage operator bank details. Now this is arguably one of the most important things that we have in the Bookeasy system, that operators enter in their bank details so they can get paid. If you're a newly established centre, you'll notice that some operators won't have this entered. If you're a longer running centre, most of your operators by now should have their bank details entered. There's a quick, easy way how to find this list in Bookeasy, and it's done through your operator search, which I'll jump back to our Bookeasy page. Our left-hand menu, operators, search, export, add new. So from this page, you've got show information. So what you can do is select to show account details. I'm just going to choose all my current operators because I'm not really too concerned about not active operators or non-current operators. And I'm going to press Perform Search. Now what this does is it gives me a list of my current operators and you'll see the name and whether they've got a bank name and their commission amount and also their username. So what I would be doing is, whether it's once a month, going through this list and just making sure that everyone has their bank details up to date and correct and targeting the ones that don't. If you're making bookings for ones that don't have their bank details in there and you want to use what's called the bank file, where you can upload it and automatically pay it out of your internet banking, any operators that don't have any bank details won't be picked up in that. So this is a very important step running before your operator returns. Always go in, always check that you have reconciled your payments. It's also important to note that if you haven't reconciled your payments, operators that have a payment and a booking, if it's not been reconciled, that booking cannot be paid out. All payments must be reconciled before the booking can be paid out on operator return. So check it. If you need to enter in bank details and you're the mothership of the operator, you can just click on the name, scroll down to the bottom of the page and enter in the account details here. Alternatively, you can give the operator their username and password and encourage them to log in and update their bank details. So there are 3 important steps that you need to follow. So you need to ensure that you have your payments all reconciled before you run your returns. You know now how to find any past payments should you wish via the payment history report. And you're checking whether operators have their bank details by doing an operator search and then choosing the account details option and clicking search. Now the next important step before running your operator returns is what we call the exception report. So I'm going to jump back into my Bookeasy console. I'm going to come down to the exception report. And what the page is going to give me is just going to give me a drop-down box for the exception report to choose. So there's 3 exception reports that we're worried about. The itinerary, payments and bookings. So when we go into itinerary, this gives us a list of all reservations in our console that have some issue with it or the booking needs to be checked for some reason. So at the top of the page, it does tell you a report shows itineraries which have a payment total greater than the itinerary total, i.e. the client has paid more for the itinerary and they should have and are due a refund. From here, you can just click on the itinerary number and it will take you through to the booking. Now I prefer to just right-click and open in a new tab every time so you don't have to then go back and run the report again every single time. So looking at this booking, I've come in, it's for Brittany Test Tours for the name of Test. At the top of the page, it gives me the total cost, the total paid and the balance owing. Now the total cost of this reservation is 0. That's because every single booking has been cancelled. So I continue coming down the booking to where my payments are and I can see that there was an original payment of $100. There was a refund done of $25 for a booking center cancellation fee. There was an operator cancellation fee done of $50 and then there was another $25 payment that looks to have gone via Gateway, which I dare say was paying back to the customer on this booking. Then for some reason we have another plus $100 payment on here. So we can see that plus 100 minus 25 minus 50 minus 25, that actually equates to 0. So therefore this payment by Bookeasy 48 of cash has come in and put $100 onto the booking. So while this might not happen in the real world, it does happen every now and then from some centres. So what your job as running finance is, you would be going through, or as a visitor centre manager, or if your job is to go through and look after the finance, you'll be going through and having to find out what happened with this booking. Now, it could just be a matter of that this person accidentally added a cash payment when they didn't mean to. So all you need to do to fix up the mistake is undo exactly what they did. So they did a $100 cash payment on the 17th of the 12th. Well, I can come in and record a refund. I'm going to choose cash. I might say Ben from Bookeasy fixing mistake on payment. And I'm going to save that payment. So now my total at the top of the booking, the total cost, the total paid, and the total balance owing is correct, because you can never have a balance owing on cancelled bookings. So when I jump back to my screen and I refresh just by pressing F5, that booking or itinerary has now dropped off. So if I was to go into the next one for an itinerary, again, I can see that this is a total cost of $0, 2 cancelled bookings, and there's a cash payment here, which means that this customer has not been refunded. So again, being in finance or the business center manager, it'd be my job to find out what's happening with this booking. Is it due a refund? What should we be doing with it? Once I have all the facts, I can come in and then adjust the payments on the booking. But it's important to show you this before you run in your return so you can make sure that all of the correct payments have been paid out. The next exception report will show itineraries where a total of the payment records do not equal that of recorded against the itinerary. We don't have any in this console, which is good. This is exactly what you want to see, that payments do not show. It's pretty much the opposite. It might say that they have paid 100, whereas actually they've paid 50, and that more commonly happens when someone's manually adjusted the booking. Got to jump down to my bookings line here on the exception report. So this report shows itineraries where the total of the bookings and or retail/sale orders do not equal the total cost of the itinerary. So if I open that, and I'm having a look at this booking, on this particular one, I get a big red warning come up across my screen, saying, warning, the itinerary total does not match the total of booking/sales. So having a look at this page, I can see that the total of the booking is $160, but for some reason it says the total cost is $1,800. This can be a multitude of reasons. There may have been an error when you're making a booking and didn't process something. It could be that someone's been in the booking manually adjusting it. A range of different things. So to fix though, all we do is at the top left hand corner we go confirmed itinerary number. Click on that link and we can set the cost as $160 as to what it should be. So now the red warning has disappeared and we can send the reservation confirmation off, or we're just checking that the booking is correct now. So again, you can see why it's an important step running through the exception reports before you run a return, as this booking here checked out in October, so they haven't been paid out yet. And they would have never have been paid out because there was an error on the booking. So it's always good for visitor center managers or finance people to be going through and checking those exception reports before you run your operator returns. What I'm going to do is add a payment to this particular booking now to set us up for our next phase, which is cancelling and refunding bookings. So my next slide, Bookeasy, we have a recommended cancellation process. The order this action doesn't really matter how we say it. You can do it in any order you like, but it may help in determining amounts to process for staff. It may also help just to get in a rhythm when you need to do cancellations, just to make sure that nothing goes wrong. So I'm going to jump back to my booking here now. And you can see here that I've got just a normal booking, total cost, total paid, and we've got a payment line down the bottom. Now what I want to ask is, I want to ask someone, whoever, you can all type in if you like, what your booking center cancellation fee is, the amount, the percentage that you take, whether it's one by one, just so I can use it as an example. So just type that into the questions box. Perfect. So we've got a mix here of $22, which is the standard cancellation fee that Bookeasy used to point out. Some people saying that they've got a $50 cancellation fee there. Some people not too sure. Some people don't take one, which is fine. I would definitely be taking a cancellation fee for the booking center, especially because you've got to think about, you've got merchant fees, you've got staff time that you've been investing into this booking, so you do need to recuperate some of that loss. Again, as well, in saying that, you can be as harsh as you like in there, and then you can then take each case by case comes. So where that's all set underneath your booking administration and your administration setup. And again, there's no set fast rule as to what it should be. Bookeasy started out doing the $22 cancellation fee, but it's just completely up to the center what you think it should be. We also say that your Bookeasy booking center cancellation fee takes precedence over the operator cancellation fee if they have one. So if an operator has, let's say, 100% cancellation fee and you had $22, you would take the $22 and then remit the rest of the payment back to the operator. Excuse me. So the next option would be to check what my operator cancellation fee is. So the fastest way to do that would be to open up the itinerary by going click here to view itinerary. And we come down and we go operator cancellation fee. So this particular operator I've chosen doesn't have any terms and conditions, but if they were here, I might choose another booking in that case, so I can show you. They do show on the reservations page, on the itinerary I should say, as red. So I'm going to choose a closed future booking. Just opening in a new tab, my booking here, and you can see the operator terms and conditions. So this is the operator terms and conditions. This one does have text in there, but I'm just going to say it's $100 for the sake of this exercise, that it says that there's $100. Your tourism center cancellation fees also display at the bottom here. So if you are unsure as to what they are, and you're looking at a booking, you can easily see them by clicking to open up the itinerary and just seeing them on there listed. So when we're going through the operator cancellation fees, there is a 5-step process, as I mentioned. So the first option is to record the tourism center cancellation fee. So when we're adding cancellations to the Bookeasy system, what we're doing is we're recording refunds. Now the record refund option, why, is because we're taking the amount away from the initial payment amount, so it's always going to be a minus. So my first step is my tourism cancellations center cancellation fee or my booking center cancellation fee. So I'm going to say it's $22. So my payment date minus 22, so the 27th, the payment amount minus 22, and the description, again, you can put in the description if you like, you don't have to, it's not mandatory. I'm not going to in this case, and I'm going to save my payment. The next step in our operator cancellation, or the cancellation of a booking, is to record the operator cancellation fee. So again, from my record refund, I'm going to choose operator cancellation fee. I'm going to got my payment date 27th, and for this exercise, because they didn't have any in the real world, we wouldn't actually be able to charge one, but you can go minus 100. The description fee, again, you can enter it in. For an operator cancellation fee, there's actually no point in entering the description because it gets overridden by our next step, which is you need to choose a booking number that it applies to. So if there are multiple bookings on this one itinerary, you would have multiple choices. But here I'm just going to say that it's the 1, so minus 100 for that particular booking, and I'm going to save my payment. Now, looking at our payment line here, we've got a very important point to mention. It's got receipt description. It's got a number added to return. Now, with operator cancellation fees in Bookeasy, they get added automatically to a return dated on the last day of that month. So if it was this year, it would be the 31st that it's coming up for. And then the 28th of Feb, or and going through. So it's important to note that when you do an operator cancellation fee, it is automatically added to the return. So if you're running your return mid-month, and you need to manually move it if you do want it to display. Now, as I've been going through adding my refunds here, the balances at the top have been adjusting. So the next step in our operator cancellation fee is to physically refund the guests. Now, it may sound silly, but the amount of times that we've been called on support where they go through the cancellation steps so they don't actually take the money, like give the money back to the customer, has happened way too much. So you need to remember to physically refund the customer, whether that's logging into Secure Pay or your gateway provider, whether it's handing them the cash, whether it's putting the refund back onto the card that they paid with through your EFTPOS terminal. You need to ensure that that step is done. As that's done outside of Bookeasy, that's why we have it as another step, and we say you need to physically remember to do it. Then the next step is to just record a refund to the guest inside of Bookeasy. So that's where we're going, record refund. And you're choosing your type. So I might say that it was a bank transfer. Minus 178, that's the amount that's left on the booking. So the system's telling you, well, you've only got $178 to refund. Again, you can put a description. You don't have to, but you can if you wish. Save payment. So the fifth and final step on the booking for the cancellation is to actually cancel the booking. So that's done. Simple option underneath the booking under action on the right hand side of the screen. I can go cancel. A pop-up window will display that says cancel booking. You're about to cancel booking. Before you cancel this booking, make sure you have refunded the total amount paid on the booking and that the total paid reads 0, which the total paid does read 0. Please print a copy for your records. You don't have to nowadays. Some centres do. Again, it just depends on how much paper that you wish to waste with the itineraries that Bookeasy have. Once clicking OK, these rooms will be freed up and you'll need to reinstate this booking by using the accommodation tour search and adding to the itinerary number. So that's basically saying when you cancel your booking, the availability will be freed up from the operator's console. So if you need to stress that to your operator, whether they need to log into Bookeasy if they had it for a double booking. Once you cancel, they will need to log in and block the availability out. If operators are using channel managers, they should check with their channel manager as to how the channel manager handles cancellations from Bookeasy. Some channel managers ignore cancellations completely. Others will process them. So again, that's on the operator to figure out how that works from their side, but we would be recommending that as soon as a booking's cancelled, if it is for a double booking, that they log in and they cancel the reservation. Once I'm happy with that, I'm going to click OK. And now my booking's cancelled. Cancellation emails are generated to the operator, as we can see here. Email sent MC, which MC is a cancellation. And then guest email has also gone CD, which is the cancellation. So that's the step on refunding and cancelling a booking and the correct way to do it. If you do get stuck when cancelling a reservation, would say call Bookeasy support or shoot us an email. Rather than going in and trying to play around with the payment figures and clicking in and changing figures here, there, and on the booking, that's when centres tend to get themselves into trouble. So sometimes we'll see, and we've got, a ton of plus payments, a ton of minus payments, all different figures all over the shop. So if you do get stuck, there's nothing that can't be undone. So it's probably sometimes easier to give us a call. But if you follow the process, so recording the tourism cancellation fee, recording your operator cancellation fee, physically refunding the customer, recording the guest refund, cancelling the booking, you shouldn't run into any issues with your cancellations. So again, here's the slide. So if you want to take a screenshot, you can. We'll be sending all this out at the end, so you don't need to take a copy, but that is the cancellation process if you hadn't written that down. So I'll give you a minute to write that down and just make sure that you have it correct. So I'm going to move on from the cancellation screen now, and we're going to go into processing our operator returns. Now we don't have any hard set rule. All we have is our recommendations for how you run your return. Obviously, internally in your accounts or in your visitor center, you're going to have different methods and different processes that you need to follow. But we will go over what we recommend from Bookeasy needs to be done. It shouldn't take any longer than half an hour at most to run your operator returns. Depending on what you need to do outside of the scope of Bookeasy can blow out, but it realistically shouldn't take any longer than half an hour as we see it. So the very first steps when running our processing our operator cancellation, operator returns, I should say, is making sure that you've reconciled all of your payments. So that's what we went through before, going to financials to our payments today. And you can see now that I've got a few more payments in there from that reservation, so I'm just going to mark these off and reconcile them all off. So making sure that I have reconciled all these payments and that I'm happy with them all, that's step one. So that was coming to our financials and payments today. Again, if you needed a payment history, again, I'm not sure what this will be used for from your level of running an operator cancellation fee, whether you do or don't need a list of payments. But if you did, you come into your payment history, which we went through. Trust monies on hand, that's a report that you can run. I'm not going to run it in this session, but this is a report that you can run before you run any operator returns. That should give you a list of monies that's in your trust account as of right then when you run the payment. So when you run the payment report. So when you run it, it's going to load and it's going to show you all the amounts that should be in there. So you can print that off. As soon as you run an operator return, it will assume, Bookeasy will assume that you've paid that money out, so it'll be gone forever. You can't go back and use the trust monies on hand report to say, what was in my trust on this day? That's not how it works. It is up until right now what should be in your trust. The next step would be your exception report. So again, this is checking to make sure that you don't have any issues with any itineraries. You can see here I've got a list as long as my arm, which you should not have. So you're going through itinerary, payments and bookings just to make sure that they are all blank, to make sure that you're not going to have any problems. Now we're going to jump into our running returns menu on the left-hand side. And there are a ton of different menu options that we can select. So we'll go through each of them before running a return. So the first option is run a new return. So this is the most common page that people use when running an operator return on Bookeasy. You're setting the return date, which is typically the end of the month or the 15th of the month. Again, completely depends on your setup of your center and how you pay out your operators. Then we've got 5 different return options that we can use in Bookeasy. Now, option 1 is what we call partial payments and full payments. What this is going to do is this is going to pay out all of our operators that have had either partial payments or full payments, and regardless of whether the guest is checked out. It's basically you're getting money in and sending it right back out again. The downside of that is if a booking gets cancelled after you've paid the operator out the money, then you've got to worry about how you get that money back and whether you do it through Bookeasy or whether you do it outside of Bookeasy. Does the customer go to the operator direct for that money? So it can get a little bit messy. Option 2, which is full payment. So that's the same as option 1. Doesn't matter if they've checked out or not, but it's only if they've fully paid off the booking. So option 3 is the report that we recommend. It's also the report most used when running your new returns through Bookeasy. So what this is doing is it's running a return, and it's going to pay out everyone that's checked out during that month or during that time period since your last return. So if I checked out yesterday and I run this on the 31st, it's going to pick up my booking. So that's what you want to be really running. You're holding that money in trust until the customer's checked out, then you're paying the operator. Option 4 is partial payments and full payments, and only a proportion of the commission taken. I don't know of any centers that use that, maybe one center that uses that. What that's doing is going, okay, well, if they take deposits, so they might take a whole heap of deposits through the year, they're taking parts of their commission. I don't know how it works it out, the commission to take. I think it just goes 50 and then looks and then tries to take the next half of the commission due the next time the next payment is added. Option 5 is often used in conjunction with option 3, and that's full commission on closed bookings with no payment. i.e. referral or pay direct bookings, and the client has stayed/checked out. So you can make bookings at the centre and not take a payment and close them off, and then you can ask for the commission back at the end of the month or at the end of the fortnight from your operators, and that's using the Return Option 5 feature. I'm just going to open them all up in a new tab here, all of our different options. And we'll go through them one by one. So this option is your commission reconciliation for one itinerary. So if you wanted to run a return on one itinerary only, you can definitely do that. We come to this menu option, which is run return on one itinerary. So you're entering in the payment date in that method, clicking the itinerary number and clicking in click here to record return, and it will run a return on that individual itinerary number. So any book, if you have multiple bookings on that itinerary, they would all be picked up. You can run a return for a specific operator, so you can put in the input date. So again, the end of the month, fortnight, weekly, daily, whatever you have. Bookings completed or bookings paid. So you might want to tick both there if you are paying out one operator, and you can select the operator from the drop-down box and click go, and it will run your return for you. Commission reconciliation for multiple booking numbers. So same as itineraries, but it's for individual booking IDs rather than itineraries. So if you had a list here, you can enter in 12 individual booking IDs if you wanted to. So you're entering in the date, the different booking IDs, and clicking here to record return. The Set Book Now button commission, for any centres that in WA that may be in attendance, they'll be running this to set the commission for, say, WA Holiday Guide, which is an affiliate. Any centres that have operators using the legacy Bookeasy Book Now buttons would also use this. They come in here before they run every return. Set Book Now button commission, they type in their code, so whether it's website, whether it's waholidayguide.com.au, they set the commission amount and click here to set Book Now button commission. That's just the step that's built into their processes, but it isn't really used outside of any of those centres that aren't using either an affiliate or setting Book Now button commissions for those legacy buttons. Add return, this isn't really used by any centres, I don't think. This is manually adding it. This is more used from a support level. If we need to manually insert a return and it's not inserting for whatever reason, we can manually insert it and set them all up. So I won't be going through that today, but the option is there should you need it. Jumping back into my menu options here. This is just recording paid and sent. So if I search my operator returns, the last operator return I ran, so I'm not going to choose the 31st, I'll choose the 31st to the 12th. So this is only used by one centre that I know of, where they come in and they say they have a list of operator returns or bookings for an operator return. They can mark it that it has been paid and that it has been sent to the operator. Again, only used by one centre, so we would recommend that most centres don't use this option. However, they follow the process of running an operator return, which we'll go through next. So jumping back to my screen of running a reconciliation, I've gone through, I've checked all my reconciled payments, I've checked my exception report, I've set my Book Now button commissions, I've made sure that my operators have bank details loaded. what I need to do now is come in and choose the date that I want to run the operator return for. So I'm going to choose the 31st the 1st, and I'm going to select operator option 3 and click here to record return, and that's going to run a return for me. So this can, depending on the amount of bookings, can take a while to run. Being in the test console, I don't have too many bookings in here, so it's basically giving me a pop-up, your returns were added successfully. That's what you want to see. If you get a message saying no returns were added, it's either you haven't probably had any bookings that have checked out in the time frame since your last return. It could be that payments haven't been reconciled, could be that you had the incorrect date entered, could be a range of different things. This screen here can pop up for some centres to finalise returns. You do have the option to finalise returns when an operator has money owing to you. Unfortunately, we don't have any on this screen here, so we can send that out with the correspondence to show you this screen and how it would work. What I've done now, I've ran my operator returns now. They're done. I've got all my reporting done. I've made sure that everything's in check, so now I just want to go and view my report. So the other way to find this is from Manage Operator Returns, View Operator Returns. Clicking that menu item will take me to the exact same place where I was. So I'm going to choose to click to view my return for the 31st the 1st. And I can see a list. I'm just going to move my page here. And I can see a list of operators that are due to be paid out. I can see other things like operator returns version 1, so we'll get into what those are. So we have a list of operators down the left-hand side, individual return IDs, the clients they were for, itinerary booking numbers, booking dates, in dates, the total booking costs, what was paid to the operator, and commission taken. So looking at the screen, I can see it looks all good to me. I'm just looking for the total booking costs, the paid to operator, and the commission taken. When you're reviewing your list, you're going to be doing the same. You're going to be looking for any zeros in this field here, making sure that you are taking commission for bookings, or that where paid to operator doesn't equal 0, because you want to be paying people out. So having a look at here, I can see that I've got 2 bookings, 500, paid to operator 500, and the commission taken is $0. So that's exactly what I'm looking for. I'm looking for operators that have $0 amounts. So what I can do is open up this itinerary in a new tab to find out what has happened. Now on the itinerary, I can see that I've got a paid to operator option. Tells me that paid to operator is 500, commission is 0. Now what I'll do is, being that it's 0, I'd probably say that this operator doesn't have a commission percentage set against it. So I'll open in the new tab, clicking on the operator name, go to click to update other details, and I can see that the commission percentage was actually set at 0. Normally that will be picked up in your checks when you're running for bank details. So it's important to note that when you do address any ones that are set as a $0 percentage. Now I'm in here, I'm just going to set my commission percentage as 15%, and I'm going to go back to the booking. Now jumping back to my booking, nothing would have changed on this page. So what I need to do, and this is what you could do, you could give support a call and we could help you through this. Alternatively, you can fix it yourself. It's just a matter of knowing the steps, what to do when there is a $0 amount. Now what's happened is, because the operator was set at $0 or 0% commission, what's happened is whenever we've made bookings for this operator, the booking's been inserted at 0% commission. So the only way to override that is to click into the booking now and change my commission percentage manually. So I can say, okay, well, my commission percentage is 15%. So now that I've done that, I can go in and I can bring up a reservations list, trying to find all the bookings and go through and manually fix the fix for this operator. That's the only way to fix it, to make sure that any of their bookings you manually set the commission percentage in there now. Now what will happen, I could do one of two things. I could delete this operator return, which I don't want to do. What I'm going to do is run an operator return again, and this booking should now be picked up. So run a new operator return for the 31st and click here to record return. So it gives us a little message, your returns were added successfully. Jump up, I'm just going to cancel off this page, jump back into the report here. I can see somewhere on Seaside now has 2 reservations and another row, which didn't have. Jumping back to the booking, I'll refresh my page. And I can see that now it's taken $75 away from the $500, as I can see minus 75, which is your commission. So that's just leaving a reference or a log as to what has happened on that particular booking. Alternatively, what I could have done is I could have deleted, I could have clicked into pay to operator, manually adjusted all of my figures, which I don't want to do. I could have deleted it, called Bookeasy, and had us delete the operator return, which again, you don't want to do. So the fastest thing to do was to go in, find all the bookings, set the percentage amount, and then run your return again, and it'll pick up any mistakes. So that's the best thing to do when figures aren't matching. Sometimes it's not going to be as simple as that. Sometimes it's not going to be a $0 amount, and it might be a different amount. If you do get stuck, give Bookeasy support a call. That's what we're there for, to help you through any issues that you may have. So back on my return now, I can see that I've got Summer on Seaside, I've got a $500, and then I've got minus 75. So in the grand scheme of things, that's going to total out to the correct amount. I wouldn't then need to go through and fix up every single one of these bookings that has a problem on it, which you're hopefully not going to get, so long as you follow the steps beforehand, checking the operator bank details, checking that commission field. If you do notice any zeros, going in and adjusting all the bookings and running your return again. Call Bookeasy support if you need help. If you get stuck at the end of the day, that's what we're there for. So now that I'm happy with my operator returns, I'm going to jump back to our screen. Now we get into sending operator returns and how these are sent out to customers or to our operators. So I'll ask everyone to put in, if they know, what operator returns version they run. Cool, so we're getting a good mix of all of them. So 1 through 5. So I personally don't know the difference. There's as to why 1 is different to 5. That was before my time. As I teach, I always teach to use operator returns version 5. But if we open them all in a new tab and we click through, you can see they've all got subtle differences. So opening option 1, you can see has a little bit different to the option 2. So where we've got tax invoice here, on option 2 it says recipient created tax invoice. When we go between 2 and 3, you can see it lists the operator name on a different row. It also includes the business details of the operator name in the heading, which the other option doesn't show. So it's just a case of going through and using the one that you are happy with. Option 3 and option 5 seem to be the most popular when using. I like 5 personally because it gives the operator payment from date at the top. So as an operator, they can see when they're where it's for, for the end of the month. And it totals it down the bottom. So scrolling down, I can see all of the operators that are due to be paid out. So I've got Bookeasy tour operator due to be paid out. It'll list the clients off, the booking ID, the amount that it's for, the total, the commission, the net paid to them. It will total it all for the operator. Going down, we got fly-by-night tours, which again, it lists the transactions that it's for. Nathan Luxury Apartment. So you can go down, you can see it. You can print off this page. If your print settings have it, it should be so that when you click print, each one is printed separately on a separate bit of paper. So that's just printing off a list of your invoices, essentially, is what you're doing there. So going back through, option 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You can see option 1, as I go through them, 2, 3, 4, and 5. They're all slightly different, but they all still have the basic information on them. So as I was saying, 3 and 5 are the most popular. So you just got to find what is the right one for your center to use. Opening it is just a matter of clicking and it'll open in a new window or a new tab for you. Now, again, it's up to the center as to when you send out your operator returns. Personally, what I would be doing is making sure my finance team are happy with the operator returns and to pay them all out before I go and send off the automatic emails to all of my operators. That way, there's not going to be any drama that comes back when you send it out. It might be that you're paying out that same day. So, it might be a few days after you've actually run your returns that you come back in to email the operators. Might be after you've uploaded it to the bank file or downloaded your bank file and then uploaded it into the bank. Then you jump into Bookeasy and you email the operator returns. Some centers don't even use Bookeasy to do their operator returns, to send it out. That's all done within their own finance system. So that is completely fine too. It's just, again, whatever you as the center wish to do. I personally, for Bookeasy, whenever I train, I say to send it out just before you've actually paid out the operators. That way you can say, look, our payment run's done. It's just a case of when it hits the bank from that point on. You don't want to run it and then in a few days find out that it's been held up in finance for whatever reason. So let's say I've printed off my list, everything's all good to pay out to our operators, and I've generated my bank file, which I'll talk through next, but let's say I have. I can click Email Operator Returns version 5, 3, or 1, whichever you want to use. I'm going to click Email Operator Returns version 5. It gives me a warning. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. I'm clicking OK. What that will do then is it'll give me a list of all the operator email addresses that it is sent to. So that's just, you can copy that out and into Excel if you want, or just take a screenshot of it, or just take note that it has been sent out. but you can see that it has been sent out to all of those operators in that list. So that's as simple as reviewing and sending out your operator returns. So what I'll do as well is get a list of people, if I can, to enter in questions, just to annoy Brittany, who's trying to respond as best she can. I keep spamming the questions option. Who uses the download bank file option? Yep, perfect. So it makes a lot of people actually do. So what we need to do before, and this comes back to our finance administration and our setup, which is normally done when your center is created. I'm going to come to administration and I'm going to come down to finance admin. I'm going to open that up. So this is where it's important that if you do want to download the bank file, which we'll go through what it is in a moment, that you have all of your bank details loaded into here. If you don't know what these fields are, and you ask your bank and they don't know, the bank probably doesn't use it. Some banks do require these for their bank file, which is why the fields are there. But if you or your bank have no idea, just leave them blank. The important things are the name of the bank, the name of the account, and BSB number. So what is a bank file? A bank file is basically a little file that you can download. It's normally downloaded and you open it with Notepad to view it. And it's a file that you upload into your bank that your bank is reading to pay out, or it's like a batch file essentially that you download and upload into your bank. So when I go download bank file, at the bottom of my screen here, it gives us a list. So I can, I need to show my screen. 1 second. So this is what a bank file looks like here. So I've got some bank account details, my operator details here. In that is how much to pay the operator. It's in a specific format. When I highlight, I can see it's a perfect square. It's got your totals down the bottom here, how much to pay out, everything from there. So it is an important feature, and it's important that all of your operators do have the bank details loaded, or else they won't show on this file. And you'll most likely find that when you try to upload it into a bank, you'll get an error because there's an operator missing. So it's always good to download and check. And if you've worked in finance, I mean, some of the people I speak to know how to read these. So if you don't need to worry about it. But it is a file that you download and you upload into your bank essentially. Each bank has different formatting. So if you know it's all correct and haven't any dramas, you'll come through to Bookeasy support or go to your bank, give them the bank file that you've downloaded, and they can perhaps point out what is incorrect with it, why it's not uploading, and we can make the changes. That being said, I'm pretty confident that most of the bank files do work for most of your big banks and St. George and those guys as well. So jumping back to my Bookeasy console, I've downloaded my bank file, I've saved it onto my computer. You would then go off and you would upload it into your bank to actually pay out your operators. Some councils or business centres still do the check payment. They might do bank transfer, which is all good as well. So it's just a matter of however you guys decide to use the system. You can also export your returns if you wish. Clicking the export option. I'm going to have to share my screen again in the application just to show you what it looks like. So it's just a list that you can export out if you like from here. So it gives us the total booking paid, the commission, and who it was booked by. This is often good as well to use to, because then you can throw it in pivot tables or do whatever you wish to it once it's in Excel. So I'll minimize that and I'll jump back to my Bookeasy console. So now that I've downloaded my bank file, I've uploaded it, I've emailed my operator returns. That's it. That's as simple as an operator return should be. So starting from the start again, not to go through every step, but just to give you a high-level overview again, just in case you've missed any steps. You need to be going through. You firstly need to check your operators and checking that they have bank details loaded and have a commission loaded. So you would search export add new under operators. You can click current. You would choose your show information option, and we're choosing account details, and we're clicking perform search, and we're getting a list of all of our operators and who have bank details, who have commission loaded, and we're making sure that that is all up to date. So that might be a good place to start as well, to follow up at the center, just to run through and check all that out, because you may be surprised who are missing bank details and which operators don't have a commission set against them. The next option you go through is your payments today. So again, remembering operator bookings cannot be returned or paid out to operators unless the payments today have been run. So all of your payments have been reconciled and they've all been marked off. So that, again, from our understanding, should be run either at the end of every day or the next day, waiting for those gateway payments to clear into your actual bank account. You can check your payment history if you want from the left-hand menu. Then it's just a matter of going through your exception reports, making sure that they're all correct. If you do have any dramas and can't figure out with the booking, it's calling Bookeasy support for assistance or submitting a support request. From there, it's a matter of clicking into record return, run a new return, and choosing your option. As I mentioned, option 3 is the most common option that is run in Bookeasy. That's going to pay out operators any bookings that have checked out between now and when you last ran your return. And it's also can be used in conjunction with return option 5, which is for any referral bookings. So if your center makes referral bookings, so that's a booking that the person might not want to pay you. They might want to check the property first. You can make that booking, don't take any payment, close the reservation off, and then at the end of the month or at the end of the fortnight, when you run a return option 5, it's going to ask for that commission back from the operator. Once that's done and you've got a list, then that's up to your internal process as to what you do with that. Do you print that list off? Do you export your operator returns? Put it in an Excel spreadsheet? What manual management do you need to do with that, if any? Then it's a matter of downloading the bank file or paying out your operators, emailing them off, which we went through, and that's as simple as an operator return should be. If you're getting calls about operator returns, for anyone, when you log into Bookeasy, you're coming to manage operator returns, view operator returns if you wish. You've got a few different summaries here. So you can view return summary. If I choose the 31st and search that, it's just going to give you a breakdown of bookings for that particular operator. So you can search longer periods of time if you wish as well. And it's going to give you a breakdown. So that's just a summary. So you can go through all of those and use them should you need to report on summary, yearly summary, monthly summaries. The yearly summary is just a breakdown per year. So if I go 2015, go. Gives us a chart as well as an overview, so our biggest months. So it gives us a breakdown at the top, and then it breaks down per month. Breaks down the categories as well for you. Again, all this information you can grab from reporting if you wish, inside of the reporting tool inside of Bookeasy, but these summaries are there for you to use if you wish. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to, as we've breezed through pretty much our allotted time, we've got 9 minutes left, so time flies. I'm going to jump to our slides, and we're going to open up for some Q&A. So if you have any quick questions, I'll try to pick them off as Brittany's replying to some as well, so I can address them now if you wish. So Anna asked, can we request to have the operator on the quick link under financials, as we use this on a daily basis? So that's probably going to tie back to our staff searches that we've got coming inside of Bookeasy, where you can choose your menus or your dashboard for that particular user, but you can send that through to support if you like, Anna. Maida's been having trouble with the booking, so I'll get you to shoot through that booking ID if you can, Maida, and we can have a look in that, especially if it's been haunting you since 2012. We don't want that. So other than that, I think Brittany's been doing a pretty good job of answering the questions. So if we don't have anything else, as I said, we're going to be sending this out again, and it's really a refresher just to outline our perfect scenario of running a return. If you do want to take it offline and you do want to organise a catch-up between maybe a support member in your finance team and you guys as well, that can definitely be arranged. Just have to let us know on support. We would encourage that as well, because we do know that some centres have funny little setups, or they might have a hurdle that they need to overcome that they're not quite sure of. So we do have the online help as well from bookeasy.com, bookeasy.com/help, which has some great little knowledge on running operated turns. When I get stuck, I always reference back to this. It's been updated and been around since day one of Bookeasy, really. So it does have a lot of good information in there. So we would encourage you to jump in and have a look at the whole finance section if you do get stuck, and it explains some of the reports and how they're all used. It also gives you a breakdown of if you need to run a new reconciliation, what it does, and there's even bank files that explains it in more detail. So from there, we'll leave it there, guys, and I thank you all for attending. The next webinar will be run most likely by Nathan regarding retail, the new POS system with Bookeasy. So that's next week, I believe. So we'd encourage you all to attend that. That way you can be kept up to date with great little POS system that we've been working on for our centres. So from there, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and thank you very much for attending.